we're going to go ahead and start the meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Liz, could you please call roll?
Member Mayor Bonta.
Here.
Member Collins.
Here.
Member Lewis. Member Farkas. Member Millet.
Here.
Did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes? And if so, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Yes, you can.
I second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. We have unfinished business, the tempo run timing. Is someone here to speak about the tempo run? Oh, come on up.
Sit there?
Yeah, you can sit here or stand, whatever is your preference.
Do that. Okay. Cool. Hello. Hi. Hi, I'm Kirk Cherub, owner of Temple Run Time, co-owner. But yeah, one of the race directors for Trail Run Extreme. Do you mean to talk more about it, or how do I?
Maybe just kind of state what it is you're doing
Sure.
and what you're looking for.
Yeah. So we're looking to continue a trail race that is hosted at Imagination Glen at the Outback Trails. It's been going on for over a decade. We took it over last year, but it's on May 19th. It's a Sunday. Starts in the morning at 9 a.m. It's a 12K trail race, so like 7 miles. There's also a kids 3K race, so about a mile and a half. Starts in the soccer fields there on the east side of Imagination Glen, runs through the trails, and then finishes on the same place where it started. But we're putting it there. It doesn't close down any roads. It's all contained within Imagination Glen Park. I've given the race plan, which covers safety and emergency plans, to both the police department and fire department, and gotten things signed by them and the parks department as well.
I think that's normally the questions we would ask is, did you already check this with police and fire? So as long as that's the case, I have no further questions unless somebody else does or wants to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve the trail race at Imagination Glen Outback Trails on May 19th.
I'll second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Cool. I will say, is someone from a fire department here? Okay. They had a form that was signed, so I need to turn it in to you.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're going to wait on the swearing in. I know a lot of people are here for it. I was asked by the chief to wait on that for unspecified reasons, or at least not stated reasons, but we'll get to you guys. So we're going to jump ahead, though, to a police matter, the patrol car computer quotes.
We're still swearing you in, don't worry. Just a technical difficulty. Got them all worried now. They're like, oh, they're going to tell me something here? I guess we'll start with some of the other stuff that we got on here. So we are seeking permission to purchase the computers for the 8 new squad cars. So at the last meeting, I believe we got the approval to seek the bids on the squad cars, which that's ongoing. I don't have it in front of me what the date is for those to be turned in, but a couple weeks still. So at a meeting in the future, we'll be opening those, and hopefully we can get us some new cars. But assuming that that's going to happen, we're starting to look at the equipment and things that we need in the cars, which is also included in that total dollar amount that we were allowed to spend. So I think I sent you guys kind of just a little bit of a letter with some explanation of why we need these new computers. Technology changes very rapidly. 5 years of being inside of a car, bouncing around, the heat and cold, different changes and things, it just takes a toll on the computers. So what we've been doing the last couple of years is getting new computers with the cars, incorporating that all into the price. They also come with docking stations so that they're secured in the car. There was a time not so long ago where I think we had bungee cords and things like that. You can imagine that's probably not the best way to secure a computer in a car. So as technology's changed, we've adapted and we now have ways to secure them in the vehicle. They charge, things like that. So that being said, we did get quotes from 3 different vendors, Dell, Midwest Public Safety, and CDW. And based on the prices, Dell being the lowest, I believe they have a better warranty and definitely a better ability to get the computers to us fastest. We're seeking approval to make those purchases for the 8 computers and 8 docking stations from Dell for a total of $23,103.04. So again, there was a total dollar amount that we were told we could spend per vehicle. This all falls within that. Actually, if we're seeking competitive pricing, hopefully we'll fall short of what we were allotted based on getting the right prices for these and the upfitting and things like that. So depending on what the car prices come back, but I think we've got a pretty good idea of where those are going to come back based on the market too. So that makes sense. I know there was a lot there.
No, it did. Any questions, and if not, is there a motion?
Chief, did you say how soon you would get these?
Hopefully very soon. It seems like the turnaround time was pretty quick. So what we're hoping to do is be able to have all of the equipment that needs to go into the cars before the cars actually get here. Because what we've had in the past is we've had cars, and then they've sat in our lot for sometimes months as equipment was ordered and things like that. So it's like every other industry right now. Some of the stuff there's a lag on. I feel like we're still talking COVID for whatever reason. Some of these things haven't caught up. So, but my understanding is that these would be here very quickly, and then the next portion that we'll probably be bringing is information on the upfitting. So it's kind of like a 3-part process of making those purchases. So, but it sounds like everything that we need in the car could actually be here before the cars get here, and then we could get that upfitting scheduled and make that process go sooner. So hopefully we'd actually have some cars on the road mid to end summer, I think is probably the most optimistic look at it. So.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the patrol car computers from Dell for $23,103.04.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you can stay right there, Chief.
Okay.
Because up next, we've got the approval of police policies and procedures manual. I think I get what's going on now. You want to wait until we have the procedures manual set before we swear in some new officers, right? That's
That
what's
works.
going on. Yes, let's go with that.
So I'll give you a little background here. So when we took over 4+ years ago, we took a hard look at our policy manual. It had been around for a long time and basically had been updated here and there. As new things came out, new pages went into it. Definitely out of date. A lot of the stuff, the core material in there was still good, but the organization of it was pretty bad. For instance, there was rules and regulations, policies and procedures. You might be looking up like a use of force and it'd be in one place and then another place and then a third place. Kind of confusing to get through all of that. And then with any updates to state and federal law, we would have to add basically as just a new page in there. It was all printed or essentially photocopied or downloaded pages onto a computer. It wasn't like on a website or anything like that. So when we would hire somebody new, we'd give them a book about this big and tell them to learn it. And then another problem with it was very specific. Like there would be stuff about like crisis negotiations, and it would list like these are your hostage negotiators or these are your SWAT team negotiator members, but it would list them by name. Well, some of them didn't even work here anymore because it didn't need to be that specific. There's obviously, we know who's doing that. There's a file on that somewhere else. That didn't need to be in the rules, things like that. So we started asking around, and it seemed, as talking to all the other departments in the area, that there was 2 options of what was the best choice. Lexipol being one, and then there's CALIA, which is a whole certification process and kind kind of a whole nother topic. But, so we did some investigation into Lexipol. It's all on a site. It's all managed. It's all broken down. Officers can get in there, search directly what they want. It gives questions so that when they come in, you can actually test them on policy, like each, however we set it up. They'll get a couple questions on policy to review it. And then it breaks it down into a policy manual and a procedural manual. So two different things, policy, one thing, procedure, how you're going to do it, rather than it be all being intermeshed. So long story short, we got the approval for signing the contract with Lexipol. We started working on this, 2 years ago. Ted's still in there you are. Still in earshot there. I think we thought it was going to be an easier thing than it was. But when you get into that many pages and that many procedures, it took a long time. And not to mention, you're still trying to run your police department. So kind of assigned it to Ted, whether he wanted it or not. But he jumped on it, and I can't tell you how many hours he put into it, at home, off work, different times, kind of got what we thought we wanted. Then we would meet, go through everything, check it as an admin. We called in specialty, if there's a SWAT policy, what are we missing here? Things like that. So it was just a very thorough process of going through everything. And I think we're pretty much where we think we should be now. So all that being said, the way that we run the police department isn't really changing. It's redefined in better searchable areas. It's much more clean. We took out some of the things that are unnecessary, but then it is also updated for all state and federal law changes. There were a lot of mandates and changes that came down after 2020. We get all those through Lexipol. They send us updates, so we incorporate those. We also get updates through the Academy, ILEA, and some other outlets, so that we're always making sure that as the laws change, we can change it. So with this set of policies and procedures, it's much easier that we can go in, find whatever that policy is, say a law completely changes, we can go in there and we can change it. So again, we're asking for, because part of the gig is that it needs to come before you guys for approval on all of that. But again, we're not really changing the way we do everything, but there is a lot of stuff in there that's very law enforcement specific, like how do you respond to a bank alarm? How do you respond to a hostage situation? There's things like that obviously are not for the public. But then it goes as simple as what uniform do you wear to work? It covers pretty much everything that we do on a daily basis for the most part. So I know that's a long-winded explanation, but you want to chime in at all, Ted? I know this was your baby, and you put a lot of time into it, so.
There's one super important benefit to this change. Again, police department operations aren't going to substantially change, with the exception of one thing, and it's a benefit. So historically, the Portage Police Department gives you your rules and regulations manual, and you review it, and you learn it, and you sign off on it. With this new software, and this is one of my favorite things about it, that's why I'm talking about it, we do something called DTBs, Daily Training Bulletins. So we as a department are allowed to set up you turn your computer on and a question pops up. And we can track, so it'll ask you a question about a rule and regulation. And it doesn't matter whether you get the question right or wrong, but it gives you an explanation on why the right answer is right. So we're stepping up tenfold, because not only are we giving our people the rules with which they're to work, we're training them on them constantly. So we're not only giving them the rules which they play by, but we're teaching them how to play better and better and better within those rules. So that's a super cool aspect of this. It's one of the main reasons we look towards this direction. So I think that's important, Chief.
Yeah, absolutely. I should note too that we had a couple years ago, before we started this process, we had one of the insurance carriers go through our rules and regs and look at some of the big ones, pursuit policies, use of force, things like that. And they really didn't give us back any notes for the most part. I think if there was anything, we tweaked a little bit of that. So those policies that are probably of, foremost in your mind, some of those things, they had already been, reviewed at one time. And then as some of the laws have changed, then obviously we've tweaked those to fall in line with some of the mandates that have come through the state. So, but again, it goes from the smallest thing you can think of, like whether or not I wear a tie to work today, to, again, what I do when I arrive at a bank robbery. I mean, and because of the nature of the work we do, all of that stuff needs to be in there somewhere. It needs to be outlined. If somebody comes to work, for the most part, they can look up and see how to handle a certain aspect of the job. So that's why it's so long and full of things in there, so.
Well, thank you, Chief. Are there any questions from the board? Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the manual?
I make a motion to approve the police policies and procedures manual.
I'll second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Awesome, thank you. That's it for me right now, right?
Actually, you can stay right there, Chief, because, sorry, I enjoy saying that.
Oh,
That's
okay,
my-
we're good.
Yeah, so, yes, now that we have the policies and procedures set, we can swear in the new officers. I'm just
Okay.
going to stand by the assertion that that's the reason why we waited.
That's what we're going with.
We're going with, Chief, do you want to introduce the first one to come up?
Yeah, Daniel Marisian, which I've been told is not the actual way to pronounce it, but you can give me the actual pronunciation one more time. You got that? Wow, okay. Or actually, oh, that'll work, and I'll give you those. Perfect. There you go.
Something about me, I do this with everybody individually, and if there's a mistake, that's okay. I'm going to say, I state your name, and when I say that, you don't have to say state your name back, you can just say your name. Believe it or not, someone actually just repeated state your name, so ever since then. And there's a part where I say, do solemnly swear or affirm. Now, when you repeat back, you can pick either swear or affirm, it's your choice either way, but you don't have to say both, you know. I say both because I'm giving you like the choice there, you know? All right, so if you raise your right hand. I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, the Constitution and the laws of the state of Indiana, and that I will faithfully and impartially execute the duties of my office as a member of the City of Portage Police Department, to the best of my ability and according to the law, so help me God. Congratulations. Congratulations, sir.
All right, now we're gonna do a couple more pictures, so don't leave me. So, let's see, left hand. Take this in the left hand, and then we're gonna shake in the right hand. Yeah, we're staging this photo. Basically, like it's all natural. We'll look out that picture somewhere. All right, all good? All right, congrats, man. Don't worry, you get to the awkward handshake next. All right, Reese Shank, come on up. Same thing, if you want to have a family member hold the Bible.
So I'll say it just again, when I say state your name, you know, you can just say your name, you know, I don't have to say state your name, and then swear or affirm, that's a choice, you can say either one. Okay, so you raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Reese Shank,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States of America,
and the laws of the
Mayor, if you don't mind, if I could just say something real quick, and then we're going to send them off to work.
Absolutely.
So, you know, a lot of times we do these at the city council meetings. I'm kind of excited to get to do it in front of a different audience here. Just kind of the way it lined up and wanting to get them out and going, it made sense to do it in front of you all. And this is the Board of Public Works and Safety, so it kind of makes sense. But I just want to thank them. As you guys probably know from me giving these speeches all the time, law enforcement, we're hurting for people. We're hurting for numbers, and it's nationwide. And when we get good candidates who want to do the job, it's exciting because, again, it's tough. It's tough right now to find people. So I'm excited that they're here. I think they're going to do a great job. Thank you to the family and friends that showed up, because this is not just about the officer. You'll find out that it's going to involve you guys too, because they're going to see things, do things that they're going to want to talk about probably at some point. So it becomes a family thing, whether you're the one wearing the badge or not. So thank you all for being here and the support that I'm sure you'll give them. But yeah, just excited to bring on 2 new guys. I think they're going to be great, and thank you too for having the desire to have the dedication to do the job for us. So. And that's all I got.
Thank you so much, Chief.
You guys can come on out here.
Those who wish to stay and see the rest of the meeting, you're certainly welcome to, but if you need to head out, we'll give you a moment. By no means you being rushed out, but you're about to hear a really exciting discussion about sidewalk policy, for those who want to stay. All right, so we have curb and sidewalk waiver, security door. Mr. Leith, are you coming up to speak?
I am, thank you.
It's good to see you. Oh, sure, thank you.
Sure.
Good morning. My name's Todd Leith. I'm here on behalf of Security Door, and we're moving to the mundane topics of sidewalks and curbs, and not police officers and the great work that they do. Congratulations to those 2 gentlemen. I represent, as I indicated, Security Door. They're rebuilding or building a new campus just south of their property on Samuelson Road. We've been to Plan Commission for site plan approval. We've been to the Board of Works for some developmental standard variances. Part of the application for the BZA was kicked back to us, if you will, indicating that these are properly to the Board of Works, and that has to do with the 2 waivers that we're asking for. So along Samuelson, we're not providing for any curbing or a sidewalk. There's no sidewalk in the general area. So we would respectfully ask that those 2 requirements be waived at this time. You've been provided a kind of a site plan, the overall site plan showing 2 entrances off of Samuelson. And again, Plan Commission's given site plan approval for all of that. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Let me just state that I did some research ahead of this because I don't know if you know, I don't know if you follow our meetings generally, but we've had 2 different sidewalk waiver issues come up, both of which turned out to be a blessing. Some other matter came up that made it an irrelevant issue. So this is our first relevant, one that we're doing in the Board of Works, at least this year.
Sure.
There has been some discussion in the past about this in relation to what's required by the city ordinance. And we had a discussion, well, some of us have talked just a little bit about it, but we had a discussion about the ordinance itself, and it does state that the developer, normally needs to do this, but that the ability to waive is there with the Board of Works. But the actual fee that's normally in place is not set by city ordinance, it's just set by the Board of Works. The standard policy the Board of Works has used was set at an April 26, 2016 meeting, and that's what sets it up at the $25 per linear foot. So if we were to waive at a cost for the 2 different things, we calculated at $36,000, $18,000, some change, it comes to about $54,000. You're asking for this not to be waived with the cost, though. You're asking for this to be waived at like for no cost, is that correct?
That's correct.
Gotcha. And as stated, this is not something where we're going past what an ordinance states. The current cost structure is just set by the Board of Works, so we can adjust that policy in any way. I think the main factor here for us is that just knowing that I think we need to be mindful of some precedent being set by what we do. Basically, if we say yes to this petitioner, it's important that we remember why, so that we apply that to future requests, as well. State, Mr. Leith, I think that this is a great project. I'm very excited about it, and I'm very comfortable, voting yes for your request. I just want to hear back from the other members of the board as well, and just kind of state.
So I'm generally inclined, the ordinance was put in place for a reason. If we're talking residential property, my feeling is we probably should never decline it. Unless there's some extenuating circumstance that would dictate that. This case is a little different because, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Leith, the business itself that's currently there is not in Portage, it's Portage Township.
That's true.
The expansion takes place in the property adjacent to it, which is in Portage. So even if we said, yes, we want you to put these curbs and sidewalks in, you're not going to put them in the other part of the business, I would assume. Because you don't have
It's
to.
not even in the city, correct?
Because
Yeah.
because you don't have to. Also, looking along where this is located, Samuelson Road, there's also a ditch, which I know that it's more than just putting a sidewalk in now, because there's also a ditch. You got to account for that drainage through there. There are no other sidewalks through there. We have a soccer complex down the road that doesn't. There's farmland. So in my opinion, and again, I'm really trying to be careful with it because you do set that precedent. I think this is, every case is different. I think this is one of those extenuating circumstances, in my opinion, that the waiver kind of makes sense to me.
Sure. And in my case, I think I'm a little bit more, I don't want to say lenient, but I think that where I get a little bit looser maybe than Mr. Mileta is that I believe that the main purpose of the ordinance is to make sure that a new neighborhood, when built, all has, sidewalks. Essentially, if you were representing a developer building a neighborhood asking for no sidewalks, I'd be really firm we need sidewalks in there. I get a bit more lenient, or at least I think we need to consider more factors when you're talking about a home being built in a lot where there's no other sidewalks on the street. But in regards to this is exactly the case. It happens to be a business, but there are no sidewalks there already. You can't have a sidewalk, or at least you wouldn't on the spot adjacent to it. Like, that's not going to happen. So again, for me, I think this makes perfect sense, And so I think for our record, I think there is I think we're in agreement with this particular precedent we're setting. Well, and then of course, if you want to say.
No, I agree. I just wanted to be clear, when we're discussing this is, and the ordinance is based on the board's discretion.
Yes. What the ordinance states, and I could read it for you, if you don't mind, let me just pull that up. So we have the revocation requirements. If a developer can show the requirement for installation of sidewalks, curbs, and/or gutters upon the terms and conditions set forth in section 7490, and any amendments thereto would cause an unnecessary hardship if strictly adhered to, he may petition the Board of Works and Safety for a waiver of such requirement or requirements. The Board of Works and Safety, in its sole discretion, may grant such a requirement waiver. Such requests and subsequent waiver shall be in writing. So the actual cost, that came up where at some point the Board of Works in its history said, hey, we're willing to grant, I don't know who it was, who was the first case. At some point somebody came asking for a waiver and they said, we'll do it for a fee. And then that's where a non-reverting sidewalk fund was made, so that when the Board of Works chose to do that, it would go into the fund. But anytime a fee comes, it's actually brought about by the Board of Works, not by ordinance itself. Well, with all that in mind, and certainly if this ever comes in handy for you for a future petition, feel free to.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah. Would anybody like to make a motion on this matter?
I'll make a motion to approve the fee waiver, the curb and sidewalk fee waiver for security door.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Outstanding. Thank you so much.
Up next, we have the approval of site services crack ceiling bid.
Good morning. morning. In Dropbox, you will find a recommendation letter from the department recommending that our crack sealing project be awarded to Site Services, Inc. for the amount of $349,184.13.
Attorney Graham, did you have time to take a look at this as well?
I did, yes.
Okay.
So I know we had this discussion before, so this is absent of everything that the street department can do on their own? These are,
Correct, yes. We've chosen all the streets that need to be crack sealed. We divided them up. The street department has their list, and then we have this list to be contracted out.
There was a very productive meeting. Well, it became a productive meeting that we had between the planning department and the street department about the future of making sure that we're, working together on identifying which roads will be handled by which. So I think this is a start, but I believe it's going to get better each year as we keep going forward.
And on that point, Indiana law allows for the department to make the repairs provided they have the capability, but the general limitation is for projects totaling less than $250,000. And by this bid, you can see that exceeds that sum. Okay.
We have other questions, and if not, is there a motion?
I make motion to approve the site services crack ceiling bid.
I'll second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have the Portage Park Market on the Square events.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay, so all summer, I would like to block the road, Adam Harding, from right past the fire station bay all the way to Main Street. I want to block it there, and I want to block it right there with the police alley every Friday, June, July, and August for our market. We're growing this year, and we need the extra space, and so I just would like to have that blocked. I can, I'll put up the barriers. I have not yet reached out to street department about it. Just figure we'll get it approved, and then I'll, speak with Randy and police and things like that. But just blocking the road just from like 12 o'clock to probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, something like that, and then the barriers would come down.
Do you want to speak a little bit about just what's going on with the Market on the Square this year? Because I know you've put a lot of
Yes.
effort into it. A lot of people have, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yes, so very exciting. We have a lot new things happening this year. I'm having a fellow market person from another area coming in and kind of partnering with us, and she's going to help me grow. And we've had the market, I think, like 6 years so far, and we just need a little bit boosts. We want to become as big and famous as all the other markets in the surrounding areas. I mean, why not? We have like 40,000 people. So I'm really trying to spread the word of this market. Happens every Friday, 3 to 9 at Founders. We have food trucks, vendors. We're going to have farmers this year, more vendors, like 15 food trucks most Friday evenings, pony rides and live music and a beer garden. Actually, Founder Square has just been renovated again, and we have like this beautiful beer garden structure that's down there. New sidewalks have gone in. So there's more electric, more lighting down there. It's nice to kind of every year get a little bit more growth down there at Founders. It's such a beautiful park. So we want to showcase that and then just let the people know what's happening down there, because the market, it's a great thing. You come listen to some music. We have free movies every Friday at dusk. We have this beautiful blow-up screen, a new sound system. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Sounds exciting.
I think we're good to, would we normally approve this like contingent of just the probably street department check and the police and fire, probably?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask of you. We would probably should do this contingent upon the police and fire, make sure that it doesn't impact them. I've got another question, Amy, and maybe this is a question for later tonight at the park board meeting.
Okay.
There's 2 businesses down there, 2 restaurants on the square that are really, from talking to them, are negatively impacted by the Friday night events that go on down there. Have you had an opportunity, or maybe maybe meet with them and maybe find some solutions where they can be more participatory or it can help them. One of them said it almost puts them out of business in the summer. Friday night should be their busy night. And with food trucks and everything else going on road closures, it pretty much kills their business. So I want to make sure, we're cognizant of that there are businesses on that square. It's not just a park. So I would encourage maybe to reach out to them. I can help with that if you'd like, and have some conversation with them on what we can do to help them, make them be part of that, so we don't just basically shut their business off on Friday nights.
We were going to reach out to them.
In years past, every year I have spoke with them, both restaurants down there. One of the restaurants actually would come and would sell items down at the square on Friday evenings and pass out coupons and things like that. And the other business, they have just kind of walked around. They have never done anything. But I am fully 100% in support of them coming down. I mean, I know Founders is a newer area. A lot of people don't even know there's restaurants back there, which is sad because they're two very great restaurants that are local owned, and we should be supporting them. But I am 100% would love for them to be down there, kind of getting them know. But I'll reach out to both of them again for this year and be like, we would love to have you guys come on board, either walking around or maybe setting something up in the front of their business, because, I mean, we have a lot of people that come through and maybe the people just want to come and shop and go sit down in a restaurant rather than sitting at a picnic table, So
I'd be
there's
happy to
something
help
for
with
everybody.
that too, because I'm very excited about this. And I think that with more people coming, with some of the other groups that are coming, I mean, I know people who, they're going to other towns for these farmers markets, and now they know that some of the farmers they like are coming to Portage. They're like, oh, well, I'm going to go there. Well, that's more people that we could steer towards the restaurant. So
Yes.
happy to help with that effort as well.
I make a motion to approve the Portage Park Market on the Square events contingent upon approval of street departments, fire department, police department.
I'll second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I do have a quick question, Amy. Will the individuals or the business for the kids with the bubbles and the bounce house and all of those businesses, will they be there?
Yes,
again?
that's Cooper's Rentals. We are doing a foam cannon our first night. We're kind of like doing a big, huge kickoff on the first night, which is June 7th. And then they will actually have probably about 8 or 10 bounce houses or slides or obstacle courses, things like that also at a charge with the wristbands. But they will be there every Friday with just their bounce things, not a foam cannon. Foam cannon's a little bit something more, kind of for like special nights. I'm going to do another one for back to school. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just, my 8-year-old daughter, I'm out there almost every Friday spending all of my pocket
Hey,
change.
I have gotten in these things. They're not just for kids. It's a little exhausting, but I've gotten on those obstacle courses. They're fun. The slides are fun. You're welcome.
Thank you. Next up, we've got the Quaker Steak and Lube Biker Night events. Is someone here to speak for, come on up.
My name is April Demars. I'm from Quaker Steak and Lube, and we just wanted to do a bike night. I just kind of wanted to inquire and make sure I'm doing things the right way. So we are going to have security. I just have a question about, and then the noise ordinance as well. I think they said it's 11 o'clock. We close at 10, so it shouldn't be an issue. We thought about having a band, but I think we're just going to have a DJ to start. And it's going to be in our parking lot, obviously, our restaurant / parking lot, but if we just blocked off just a small part of our parking lot, are we able to have a band there if we ever decided to do that?
I think in the past, the bike nights that were there had bands and did just that.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
I don't think it was ever a problem. Actually, those were nice events.
Yeah, so we wanted to bring it back. We're under new management and everything like that. It's my first year here, so I just want to make sure I'm doing it the right way and everyone's all on board
I
with
think
it.
that this is probably just a kind of talk to police fire, just make sure that that's checked, but I think we can approve that contingent on those checks,
And we plan on having security there, Portage security possibly, so.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve based on working with the police and fire department as well.
Okay, perfect. And then if we have orange,
Oh, I'm sorry, real quick. We can vote. Do you want to ask this first, or do you want us to vote first?
oh, you can vote first.
We'll
I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
So we got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank
Congratulations. I'm sorry, you had a question?
Yeah, so are we allowed to have beer in our parking lot if it's blocked off?
That would be the Indiana Alcoholic Beverage Tobacco
Okay.
Commission would be the ones who would approve your beer garden outside.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
So next we have a bulk item appeal. And Darren, I'm asking you to come up, but I'm going to also state, we always have the department go first with explaining it. And then after the department, if the petitioner is here, then we'll have them come up next. So feel free to come on up. Good morning.
I believe you have everything in front of you, what's going on with the appeal. We're asking that the board upholds a $25 charge because we did go out during the week, and we had some fell behind on bulk. But there was a list for high lifts, it was out there since the Monday that we picked it up on February 26th. Thought it was loud enough. So, February 26th, we picked, they noticed it was out there. We cannot pick that stuff up with a side loader, of course, so we make plans to go back and pick it up. So apparently they went back on March 1st and picked it up. And we've had no calls from the resident prior or during that week as far as about the fencing. So as it's being out there, with ordinance.
So I'm asking because reading the appeal from the resident, she put the date occurred as, what does this say, April 15th, 2024? This is 5436 Fitz Avenue?
Yes.
Is that just maybe a mistake on the date, or you're saying this
May
happened?
have been the day that she filled
that's-
it out, because I
oh.
had a meeting with Superintendent Reeder on Monday to talk about this. And he did let me know all the details of everything going on.
So this is a $25 charge? Is that correct?
Yes, this goes previous before the Board of Works approved of the new bulk.
Sure.
Yes, yes, so beforehand, it was a $25 charge for anything outside the toter. 40
Gotcha.
square feet.
So it's actually $15 less than what we would charge if this happened now?
Yes.
I do want to say that, I don't know if my speaker's on or not, but that she did send me a letter stating that she couldn't be here because she was working and she can't afford to take off of work. And that's why she was not here. She's
Would it,
gone through some hardships. It's also in the letter, I think it's in the Dropbox. I don't know if you guys got a chance to read it.
Yes.
yeah.
So I just wanted to put that on record, that she did send a letter saying why she wasn't going to be here.
So I'm a little confused, and explain to me, so her claim is that while it was her fence, her neighbor put it out to the trash?
Yes,
And
from
it was
what
in
I
front of her
heard.
neighbor's house, not her house? So how did it come about that she got charged, not the neighbor?
So it was put in her yard. I don't do the neighborhood squabbles and stuff. I don't know their thing. I don't know if the fence was in the neighbor's yard, falling down. Neighbor wanted to get out of there because they got to take care of their yard. I don't know what was said between them, but we do know that it was brought out to the front, and we picked it up.
At the end of the day, I mean, we can't just assume that every bulk item, oh, no, and I'm not disagreeing with you, because, oh, I know, I just, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no, I also read it as if it was in the neighbor's yard, and that confused me at first. And then I thought maybe she was, anyway, then it made, it's pretty clear that this is only because it was in the yard, you know?
And that's where I was confused, is how did
Right,
she get
'cause-
charged? I mean, if it was in front of the neighbors, wouldn't the neighbor have gotten charged? But I understand.
Next to his trash cans in my yard, so that is confusing. It's next to his trash, but in her yard. But either way, without speaking to her or her neighbor, then it's a he said, she said.
Yeah, it really is.
And I appreciate your coming to us with that recommendation. I'll
Right.
make a motion to deny the bulk dispute claim.
Okay, very good.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
So we're going to go over to the claims, and I want to state, after talking with some former mayors in some other cities, as well as some current ones and our department heads, a request I made of the clerk treasurer's office is that going forward, you guys will note in the Dropbox that there is a revenue report, a funds report, and there is a appropriations report, which is 3 different ways to show how much money has been spent to date, how much we currently have in each, fund, and then also how much revenue has come in. One of these days, I'd love to see the revenue exceed what the budget expected, but I think that, and I agree with those who advised me on this is important for the Board of Works to be able to make some determinations when new costs come up or new proposals come up to see kind of where we're at, and also just how to assess, are we making the right decision based on how much money is in that fund? I want to thank the clerk treasurer's office for working with me on that, and that's something where I've asked for that to be submitted to Dropbox the Friday before each Board of Works meeting. The clerk treasurer's office got it in by Thursday last week, so I appreciate that tremendously, and I think it's going to help with transparency. It's going to help us make some much more clear decisions than just going off the budget. So that said, did everyone get a chance to look at the claims, and were there any questions or, I won't say disputes, but any concerns to be brought up?
So are we approving these as 3 separate reports now? Is that what we're asking, or are we still just lumping them together?
Oh, that's just informational. Yeah, there's no vote necessary to accept those reports. Those are real, from the clerk treasurer's office, but that's to help you if, let's say in the future, the police is asking to spend a certain amount of money, and you might say, what fund is that coming from? And then you might look at the funds report and say, oh, wait a second, that's almost out of money. That helps inform you. Or other way around, maybe the parks are asking for something, but we're at record rentals, and there's more money than we anticipated. These are just hypotheticals. I'm not claiming either of those is the case. But, yeah, it's to help make an informed decision.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the claims in amount of $806,740.22.
I second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Is there any other business deemed proper to be brought before this board? Oh, hey.
Hi, sorry, I had failed to ask for this to be placed on the agenda, but I wanted permission to seek bids for some paving projects this year. We just were notified that we were awarded our $1.5 million through our Community Crossing Matching Grant program, and so I wanted to get started with our paving this year.
I'm super excited about this, but are there any other questions from the board? All right, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the seek for bids for paving project.
I'll second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other business deemed proper to be brought before the board? Oh, come on up.
So I had come to the March meeting for the curb and sidewalks, and you had said come back in a couple weeks to see. So I'm just seeing an update on that for the Mulberry lot.
Yeah, so, and as noted, you saw some precedent setting there with a different, company coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And I apologize if this needed to be communicated more clearly. Did you have the opportunity to meet with the planning department?
I was never.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought they were going to talk to you after, but Tom Cherry is the gentleman over there in the button-down shirt. if you could set up a meeting with him, literally like as soon as, I don't mean like as soon as possible, what I mean is like, literally like we can get you in this week, we can discuss that.
Okay.
And then that way we can get a proposal for you to bring to this board.
Okay.
I'm sorry about the confusion.
No, that's okay.
Because I was asking about you this morning, in
Oh.
light of the fact that this other thing was coming up. I was like, wait, but what about that one?
Yeah,
So
perfect.
if you talk to Tom, we'll get some set up, and I'd love to be in that meeting too, as long as that's okay with you, Tom.
Perfect.
Cool,
so
thank
much.
you. Any other matters to come before this board? Here, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn?
A second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.